And for our viewers, Missionaries of Charity has just clarified that no account of theirs has been frozen. It's been a big political fight after Mamata Banerjee put out several tweets saying that their accounts were frozen, and a response that was released by the MHA a short while ago. However, the biggest highlight in this story now stands at a point where they clarify that no account is frozen. A very strong tweet that had come in from Mamata Banerjee, where a spark that flew when she said that the accounts of the Missionaries of Charity had been frozen, which had left more than 22,000 employees and beneficiaries without medicines and food. And the MHA also having issued a statement just a short while ago saying the FCRA registration of MSC was valid up to the 31st of December 2021. Republic being the only channel also first getting a response from the Missionaries of Charity, who are now clarifying that their accounts were never frozen in the first place. Rishika has been able to access that letter. She's joining us from the Mumbai newsroom. Rishika, talk to us.
I'll just read through the letter that has come from the Missionaries of Charity. They're saying we would like to clarify that the FCRA registration of the Missionaries of Charity has neither been suspended nor cancelled. So there, the opposition's claims about the opposition's claims completely falling flat. They're saying further there is no freeze ordered by the Ministry of Home Affairs or any of our bank accounts. We've been informed that our FCRA renewal application has not been approved, as said by the MHA earlier, as mentioned in the MHA order. Therefore, as a measure, they say, to ensure there is no lapse, we've asked the centres not to operate any of the FC accounts until the matter is resolved. So they are confirming what the centre earlier said. Their accounts have not been frozen. It's just a matter of violation of the FCRA guidelines, as the MHA said. And opposition has been raising this matter since early morning today. Mamata Banerjee tweeted on it. So their claims completely falling flat, government fact-checking them, and this has been latest being confirmed by the Missionaries of Charity themselves. They've issued a statement.
Oh yes, a lot of responses coming in from everywhere because of the tweet that was put out by Mamata Banerjee, stating that more than 22,000 beneficiaries and employees of Missionaries of Charity had been suffering without food and medicines because of this very move by the centre. However, now the entire clarification coming in, and wondering how the TMC is now going to react, given the kind of sparks flew after those very tweets. MHA also having to clarify that they have not frozen any accounts of Missionaries of Charity. State Bank of India had informed that Missionaries of Charity itself sent a request to SBI to freeze its accounts, and the Missionaries of Charity have just put out a statement on this because until now their side was very important. It is coming straight from them now, and they say that their accounts are not frozen in the first place. So why is all this happening? Rishika, I want to come back to you. Take us through the operative parts of that letter.
Right. For the benefit of our viewers who are just joining us, I'll take you again through the letter that was put out. They're clearly mentioning no freeze ordered by the Ministry of Home Affairs or any of the bank accounts of Missionaries of Charity. They're saying only that and they're saying the FCRA renewal.
Rishika, I'm not able to hear you very clearly. But the Missionaries of Charity denying the claim that was made by the opposition, and to be specific, Mamata Banerjee, who had put out those tweets, she had also made that very claim, and now Missionaries of Charity is saying that their accounts are neither suspended nor cancelled. Priyanka Tibrewal is with me on the phone line. Priyanka, what do you have to say now about this huge twist in this story?
Good evening to all the viewers of Republic. See, I do not need to say anything much because we all know the nature and characteristics of Mamata Banerjee. She leaves no chance to spread any kind of fake news. So this is one of them. Without even knowing the facts or without even knowing the whereabouts of something, she just comes to a conclusion Now this is the Missionaries of Charity who are themselves admitting that Ministry of Home Affairs has no role to play in this. And it is factually so, because whatever is the procedure, it is all dependent on a particular act, which is the FCRA Act. And whatever rules and regulations are mentioned in that act, accordingly, the renewal or whatever has to take place according to the act. So the central government has no role to play in that. But apart from that also, since they've already mentioned that about the freezing of accounts which she was spreading, a fake propaganda, a fake news, and was trying to use it, I think, probably for the Goa elections. So whatever all said and done in Goa, that whatever rift she was trying to create, and maybe she was trying to woo the Christian voters or to spread some kind of a propaganda. So it is now clear that this was a completely fake news, and that the central government has no role to play in this, and that the accounts which she claimed were frozen. So MHA has no role in that. And even if they are, then what I had come to know was that this MOC themselves, they had written to State Bank of India to freeze some of their accounts. So again, BJP or the central government, they have no role to play in this. Hello.
Shravan, I want to bring you in at this point. Priyanka, thank you for speaking to us, because Shravan, this could be so misleading in the first place. And if it is being done for political benefits, then an apology must be issued.
Well, in fact, there are two aspects to this entire development that's taken place. Let's just put this together, how it started, what really happened, because there was no official confirmation really coming in earlier in the day when you've had political leaders from the Trinamool Congress essentially taking to the social media platforms, talking about the fact that Missionaries of Charity, their bank accounts have been frozen, and alleging that this was done at the behest of the government. Now, it was only late evening when the Ministry of Home Affairs issued a press release in which they made a mention that on 25th of December, that's when the FCRA's regulations, or rather the approval, wasn't really granted to the Missionaries of Charity to begin with, because there were certain discrepancies, there were certain lapses. But the bone of contention here is the bank account itself, whether at all this was frozen by the government or not, whether it was frozen by the Ministry of Home Affairs with regards to the FCRA violations to begin with. There comes in the clarification that the Ministry of Home Affairs essentially pointed out that no such action was taken place to begin with. Secondly, it was Missionaries of Charities themselves who had written to the State Bank of India to basically freeze their accounts. Now, let's take a look at the statement that has now been issued by the Missionaries of Charity, because that makes it abundantly clear, where they are saying that we would like to clarify that the FCRA registration of the Missionaries of Charity has been neither suspended nor cancelled. Further, there is no freeze ordered by the Ministry of Home Affairs on any of our bank accounts. We have been informed that our FCRA renewal application has not been approved. Now, this is the key line here, that their renewal application has not been approved. That was on the 25th of December. So if at all there has been any development from the side of the Government of India, it is with regards to the FCRA renewal application of the Missionaries of Charity, which they too have now agreed it has not been approved. Therefore, as a measure to ensure there is no lapse, we have asked our centres not to operate any of the FC accounts until the matter is resolved. Now, so it becomes very clear, both sides here, on the one hand, the Ministry of Home Affairs, and on the other, that is the Missionaries of Charity, both are on the same page. Now, when I say that they are on the same page, they agree on the fact that there was no approval that was basically given with regards to the renewal application of the Missionaries of Charity to begin with. Now, with regards to the renewal application that was rejected, now, as far as the bank accounts are concerned, both of them are now basically saying that no such act was done by the Government of India as far as freezing the bank accounts. It was rather the Missionaries of Charities themselves that they had written an application to the State Bank of India, and it is they who had basically requested that their bank accounts were frozen.